mathematicians. Today we're going to talk about the distributive property, what it means, how to use it, and why we're using it right now. Okay, so in our notes, we have a whole bunch of words. And I'm actually going to write out the example before we talk about the real notes. Let's look at this problem. 12 times 94. Okay, 12 tables, feel pretty good about that. 94 tables, no, don't have those memorized. How can I make this easier for myself? I could say that 12 times 94 is the same thing as 12 times 90 plus 4. Okay, 90 plus 4 is 94. Okay, cool. This is actually the same thing as saying 12 times 90 plus 12 times 4. If I did that multiplication, it would give me the same answer as 12 times 94. Okay, let's go back to, oops, I already showed you the first answer of the notes. Let's go back to the notes. The first chunk says the distributive property of multiplication over addition. Addition, right there, adding. Whoops, adding. When you multiply a sum, remember sum means the answer to an adding problem, by a number. Okay, sum right here, 90 plus 4, by a number, 12. It's the same as multiplying each of the numbers in the sum. Oh, same as multiplying 90 and 4 by that 12. 12 times 90, 12 times 4, and then adding the products. The products are the answer to multiplication problems. So if I did this, I know that 12 times 9 is, think about it, 12 times 9 is 108, with a 0 at the, oops, where am I? 108, but that's 12 times 9. 12 times 90 is 1080. 12 times 4 is 48. I can add those two together. That gives me 1128, and that is actually the answer up here. So this method, this distributive property, helps me break down 94 into some easier numbers to multiply. Now what about this 12 times 89? Still comfortable with my 12s tables? 89? No. I could do it the same way. I could say 12 times 80 plus 9. Or I can say, instead of using adding, let's do, well, that's not where I meant to draw. Let's do 12 times, watch what I'm doing really carefully, 90. Okay, what does 90 have to do with 89? 90 minus 1, that's 89. Same idea. I'm going to distribute or give out equally to everyone that times 12. So everybody inside my parentheses gets a times 12. 90 gets a times 12. 1 gets a times 12. And I'm going to keep the symbol, that subtraction symbol, that was going on between them. Because what I'm going to get here is my answer to 12 times 90, 1080. And then I'm going to take away a group of 12 because I didn't really want 90 groups of 12, I wanted 89 groups of 12. So the distributive property of multiplication over subtraction, subtraction, means that when you multiply a difference, which is a subtraction problem, by a number, it's the same as multiplying each of those numbers, the 90 and the 1, each of those numbers in the difference by that 12, and then subtracting these products, subtracting these answers. That would give me 1068 as my final answer. So this is kind of like partial products in that we're breaking apart, we're decomposing one of the factors in our problems. But let's talk about another way to show these problems, and that's with an area model. You're going to see this a lot. You can use the distributive property to find products or a product of large numbers. That goes in your notes. So here we have a rectangle, like an area model. We can see that this is a height of 4. This is a length of 8. 4 times 8 is, think about it, 32 inches squared. And over here we have a smaller rectangle that's 6 by 4. 6 times 4 is 24 inches squared. We do squared because this is area, and inches times inches is inches with an exponent of 2. We'll talk a lot more about that in geometry. We dealt with that 4 twice because it's the height of the whole thing. But we could also have said, this is the height of the whole thing, and this is the length of the whole thing. What would you have done with that 8 and that 6? Could have added them together, just like we're adding the final 2 areas together to find the total area. We dealt with the 4 twice because it's the height. This is a way we can show in picture form what's really happening in the distributive property. Now, before we move on to our student practice, I want you to do these 2 problems here in your notes. 9 times 54 is the same thing as 9 times something plus 4. You're going to have to figure out that something is, 50. Follow the pattern, break it down. 9 times what? Plus. Oh, plus. Oh, look, there's the plus. What times 4? Well, 9 times, what's the first thing in your parentheses? 50. And the second thing in your parentheses is times 4, but what's going right here? You finish up these notes for this one and this one before you move on to your student practice on the distributive property.